Yeah, welcome back from the AM News. Right away, we are going to kickstart our discussions for today. Before we went for the news, remember I told you that we're looking at the 5 billion naira palliative and 5 trucks of rice that have been released by the federal government to each state, including the FCT, to mitigate hunger that be occasioned by subsidy removal. And we have a guest in the house to discuss how feasible and how workable this is. We are talking about Godwin Akbogome, a public affairs analyst and commentator. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for a beautiful day like this and the opportunity to also come here to reason and have this conversation with you.
Right, we're glad to have you with us this beautiful Wednesday morning. And like I just explained what we were talking about now, federal government has released 5 billion naira to each state and also 5 trucks of rice to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal, which has caused so much hunger in the land. So how workable is this move by the federal government, given the fact that during the COVID-19 saga, we had a problem of palliatives being kept in warehouses across the state, and people were dying of hunger. Can we see anything different from these that are just been released for states? Is there anything different from what we used to know that is going to happen concerning these present palliatives by the federal government?
Okay, to begin with, let us just say the 5 billion naira is a good intention from the federal government, and okay, you want to say you want to commend them for that. Yeah, good intention, but this intention, probably you want to ask how effective and how sufficient will it be? And then you asked if, what happened during the COVID-19, palliatives where, such were stored in the storehouse and they were not. Joy, we don't have a choice. We just have to trust government. We don't have a choice. We are condemned to trusting them to effectively distribute this. There's nothing we can do about it. But about the palliative, now, it is designed to alleviate or to lift people?
Yes, to cushion the effect of hunger as a result of subsidy removal. So much hunger in the land.
Okay, there's so much hunger in the land. Okay. 5 billion naira were told, 52% of that money is a grant, 48 is given out as a loan, and we are told that they are to buy 100,000 bags of rice
and
40,000 naira bags of grain, 40,000 bags of grain. And the question you tended to ask is 100,000 bags of rice. Is it just for Oredo or for the entire 18 local government? How do you even intend to share 100,000 bags of rice? I don't know what the current population of Edo State is, and certainly I know it is not for everybody. But let's just assume for a moment that the population of Edo State is 5 billion. About 2 million are on the very poor side. And so how do you intend to share 100 bags of rice? And then you are talking about a 5 truck load of is it rice?
Yes.
Why must it always be rice? Why must it always be rice? Okay, fine. I don't know. I try to get what each truckload will contain. I couldn't get that. But 5 truckloads of rice. Where would it go? How far would it go? Okay, you give them the rice. Are they going to boil the rice and eat it white? So at the end of the day, you say it is a palliative. Yes. Is it meant to lift people? See, Joy, what I expect government to be doing, it's not. Yes, I call this a handout. And when you are dealing with the problem of hunger, you don't give people handouts. The people are poor. Why are they poor? Are they poor because they don't have food to eat? That's not why they are poor. They are poor because they don't have what to do to put food on their table.
Yeah.
So that's what you need to address. Because giving people rice, well, how long are they going to eat the rice?
How many days are going to eat that?
I don't know, but how long are they going to eat the rice? You know what they say now? Teach them how to fish rather than keep giving them fish. What is creating this poverty? What is creating this whole problem? That's what you should be addressing.
Deal with the root cause.
I would expect that by now, this government, the past government, 8 years, PDP spent 16 years, the last one was 7 years. That's how many years? 20 okay. 16 plus, that's 24 years. We need to find out how China was able to move 800 million citizens out of poverty in 30 years. 800 million out of poverty in 3 decades. And this government, the past government, 8 years, the other one 60, that's 20, how much? 24. So that's what we should be looking at. How do we address the problem that has actually put so many people to become multi-dimensionally poor? That's what we should be addressing. The palliative is good, but how much and how far will it go? Your concern, and just like the concern of many people out there, is can you trust government to efficiently, effectively distribute these palliative to those who are actually in need of them? That's $1 million question. But again, like I said, we do not have a choice. We have to trust government to do what is right this time. Yes, in the time past, we had a problem with distribution, but let us hope and pray that this time around, Joy, a man dies in a car crash, you still need to enter a vehicle to go and pay condolence visits. So it has happened in the past. What do? We now say, well, we are again believing, hoping, and trusting that as this palliative comes, government would do that which is necessary, and that politicians will not begin to fill up the register with their friends and families and political associates. Let it be that this palliative will truly get to those whom it is designed to get to. But as to whether it will deal with the problem of hunger, I will tell you no.
As to whether it will deal with the problem of hunger, you are not so sure. Now, this palliative is meant for the vulnerables in the society. Looking at the Nigeria of today, virtually everybody is vulnerable. Nobody can boast. Vulnerable? Nobody can boast. Let me tell you, we dress fine. Okay. We look good. Okay. Because we have hope that today will be better than yesterday and tomorrow will be greater. Mm-hmm. But that is not to say I go to a police station, I'm able to buy fuel the way I ought to buy. If I tell you how much it cost me to get to work this morning, you will pity me. How much it's going to cost me to get back? And I have other days to do that as well. I have bills to pay. Is the money readily available? So you ask the question, who are the vulnerable, sir? Who are the vulnerable? How do you determine who is vulnerable to be able to share these palliative equitably?
Okay, Joy, it's quite a difficult thing because we have a country where keeping record is one of our biggest problems. The data is not there as to who and who. Well, the social register that was generated some time ago, that one also generated its own controversy as to the people that were captured in that register. A lot of people had their concern that those are not the people. But again, it's going to be difficult. The most vulnerable, the poorest among the poor. How do you track them? How do you find them? And like I said a while ago, it's a problem we have because we see our record keeping in this country is bizarre. Now, okay, look at it. The traders' money, as we speak today, you remember there was a time that our former vice president went around markets sharing 10,000 naira.
Yeah.
The question is, who and who benefited from that traders' money? The conditional cash transfer that was also done, who and who benefited? One would have thought by now the records will be there, but maybe the records are there, they've not shown them to us.
All right.
But one will expect that as we are talking about the vulnerables, That would have been, a good point to start from. All those who receive the conditional account transfer, the trader money, and all other social investment and social, program that the past government introduced. By now, we should have a record of all of them. Okay, look at the school feeding program. How many children were fed? I don't know if there were any children that were fed in Edo State during that period. I do not know of any school. So
I'm not aware of any.
So that's what we are saying. So our biggest challenge is record keeping. The data are not there because the purpose of data is to help you plan, is to help you analyze, and is to help you determine what to do next. And so when you don't have them, it becomes difficult. So if you are asking me, how are they going to? Honestly, I do not know. In Edo State, how are you now going to distribute it? Maybe as we speak, maybe they're already compiling the names of those who are the most vulnerable. Certainly, you and I will not be counted among them, Joy. But it's obvious that you, me, and maybe your GM will not be among the most vulnerable. But those who are actually the poorest of the poor,
yes.
The issue of the 8,000 that a lot of Nigerians criticized and government had to withdraw, 8,000 naira for 12 million families. That's what they said, 8,000 naira for 12 million families. And we asked, what would 8,000 naira do? How much is a tuber of yam now? The sizable one is not less than 3,000 or 4,000 naira. Yes. A rubber of beans close to about 2,000 naira or so. So if you give a family 8,000 naira, bread now, how much is a loaf of bread? A sizable 1,200, 1,300. And so how many? So these are so. Thank God that those in charge listened to the criticism or the concerns, and then they sat back and said, okay, let's do a revaluation. So, as to who will benefit, it is the most vulnerable. Who are the most vulnerable? You and I know them, but those in charge saddle the responsibility of sharing this palliative. Do they know them, or are they going to bring in their families and friends? But no, that's the one of the things that we do in this part of the world.
Yes.
When things like this come, you begin to fill in the register with people and not those who are actually, Joy, if only we had a functioning local government, one would have said that's the tier of government that is closer to the people.
Yes.
One would have said, okay, let's start from there.
Yes.
But as we speak today, we really do not have a local government that is functioning. You don't have chairman for how many years now? So how are you now going to find these vulnerable people? A few of them are in the city, but majority of them are in the rural area.
Correct.
So how do you intend to? So government have to tell us how they intend to go about it. So if you ask me, honestly, I do not know. But if we had a functioning local government, we would have said, okay, let's begin from the local government. From there, we'll be able to locate, track them, and then know what we are going to do. But as it is now, because we don't have records, data are not there, it's going to be difficult for us to know who are the most vulnerable. But again, Joy, don't say that you are one of those vulnerable.
No, I'm not vulnerable at all. But what I'm saying that
you are not going to benefit from this our palliative.
What I'm saying is that if you look at the situation of the country today, virtually everybody has been touched.
No, we all
been touched.
Okay.
Everybody has a story to tell.
No, we all do. See, you talk about this fuel. Fuel is one thing that touches everybody. The rich and
because
poor.
of that, the cost of foodstuff in the market is on the high side.
I agree with
that. So if
absolutely.
I go to the market with my salary today, what do I do with it? After buying fuel for a month, I pay all the bills. How much do I have left to buy foodstuff for me to take care of myself?
Well, the government said they're going to review your
days?
salary. So let's just wait and
So
see.
when you say there are some things I will not agree with you here, so we all need to be taken care of.
Well, Joe, you don't look vulnerable.
I will never look vulnerable, but we all need help anyway.
We all do.
Now, if you look at what is being given to states, 5 billion naira, you touched on it earlier when you started talking. But what I'm looking at now is how far can this go? If I'm correct, Edo State population alone is 8 million, if not more.
Okay.
So what will 5 billion do for the people?
The 5 billion is meant to support what the state government is also putting in place. The 5 billion is not the ultimate. It's only meant to support, because the states are also supposed to, come up with something. Yeah. So what the federal government has just done is the form of assistance to the states, because some states are already, like Zulum, is it Borno State or so, buses out there to help, transportation for those. And so the 5 billion is actually meant to assist what states are already planning to do or what they've already started doing. But we do not know what the state government has actually put in place. I have not heard if they have actually done anything yet, but I am sure they have a plan. So this 5 billion is to assist the states, in whatever plan they have put in place to help cushion whatever, difficulty the people are going to have. But again, Joy, it's, again, like I will always say that our biggest problem in this part of the world is that leadership do not think. They don't think. What we are dealing with now, we would have thought about it, we would have planned for it, worked it out years before today.
Yes.
That's the way leadership works. Leadership solves the problem before the problem rears its head up.
Yes.
That's leadership. But unfortunately, in this part of the world, the questions come, and then we begin to look for answers. What I expected them to have done, this issue of subsidy removal has been on the table for only God knows how long. In the days of the military, it has been there. The last government had 8 years, and this removal has been on the table for 8 years. Mm-hmm. One would have expected that if you have a government that thinks, you would have been thinking, okay, we are going to remove subsidy. By the time we remove subsidy, this and this would have been in place. Now look at what they are telling us. Okay, CNG, everybody should go CNG compliant. Do you know the cost of converting your car? Joy, if you have to convert your car now to become CNG compliant, you need about 360,000 naira.
From where am I going to get that?
I'm not asking you to do, but I'm only saying that's what they are telling us, because our biggest problem now is moving around.
Yes.
It's not just the eating now, but moving around.
Yes.
Because the moving around seems to affect every other thing you find in the market. So if you are going to do your conversion for your car, 360,000, how many people can afford 360,000 naira? Do you know before subsidy was actually removed, to do your conversion was between 2 and 250,000. A liter of CNG was around 100 naira, but immediately subsidy was removed, the thing jumped up to 360, and the liter of CNG is now 200. And so if you are saying, okay, they say they are going to bring in CNG buses and all of that, when are you going to bring? That's why I said, look, we are not thinking.
We'll wait for the problem to engulf us and start
we are not thinking. We see, if we had leadership that think, 8 years, just imagine if you were building CNG buses from the first year, 2015, that you came in. By now, all the streets, virtually all the cities in Nigeria would have been flooded with CNG buses, and that would have gone a long way in taking out the burden and the problem people go through in trying to move from one point. Now you are talking about CNG buses. When are they going to come? When are you going to do all of this? It is going to be difficult. But again, like we said, if government can sit down, do a re-evaluation. See, Kenya, we saw Ruto came in, took out fuel subsidy, people were on the streets for weeks, thought about it, and then reintroduced fuel subsidy. See, in policy making and policy implementation, you also have what they call policy evaluation. You say, okay, this is what you want to do. You've done it, then you now sit down. Is this policy that we have been, because every policy is designed to better the life of the average Nigerian, and if it is not achieving that, what to do? You do a policy reevaluation. This thing is not working. Pull it off. Let's go back to the table. Think of something better. But unfortunately for us, it's whether it's a matter of pride or ego. The government just says it, and they don't want to be seen to be weak, and then they hold on to even when it's not working.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, what government needs to do, see, these problems are there. Deal with them. Take out your ego. Deal with them. But we just want to believe that, well, the cabinet is in place. Let's hope and pray that the ministers will help the president fix some of this problem that we are currently facing. But as it is now, I don't see this problem going away anytime soon.
How long will Nigerians continue to hope and pray?
As long as you have the breath of life in you, you must.
Because when all is said and done, what we keep telling ourselves, we give ourselves this hope that it is well, it will get better. When the people who call themselves the technocrats don't sit down to do the right thing, like you earlier said, a leader ought to envisage a problem before it occurs. You sit down, you evaluate it, you prefer solution. When the problem now occurs, you already have a solution to tackle it. But when you wait for the problem to engulf the people and you're not looking for a way out of darkness, it becomes another problem itself. So how long are we going to be hoping and praying until we see results? How long?
Hey, Joe, see, like I said, the only thing that keeps you alive is hope. The only reason why you are looking forward to tomorrow and you feel that tomorrow will give you something better than what is giving you today is hope. A man's hope dies, his life is gone.
Yeah.
So what keeps you alive is hope. So we must hold on to that hope. I don't know how long this is going to take, but if we must survive, if we must, live for, we must keep hope alive. The only reason why some of you are still with this broadcasting house is hope. And with hope, this place will be better than what it was maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Yeah. So we must, it's difficult. It's, discouraging, but at the same time, we must keep hope alive. Because at the end of the day, there is nothing you can do but to wait. If government says they are going to do this, the only choice we have is to wait and see if they will do it. Again, that is the only hope we have. Let's just wait and wait and wait and wait. That's the only solution to us. There is nothing we can do. We cannot go and fight government. So anything they tell us, let's just hope that they will end up. Well, government have promised so much. Again, it's not the first time. It's not the first time they make promises. But like I said, we are condemned to trusting them. We don't have a choice but to trust them in this matter.
All right, let's keep hoping, because the moment you lose your hope, you die. And we are not ready to die. We are strong. So we'll keep hoping and praying that the right thing will be done and the people will have a better life than what they have now. Still going back to our discussion on palliatives, sir. We have this monster that is so deeply rooted in every sphere of our existence that we don't know what to do. And this monster is weighing us down, keeping us down and taking us backwards all the time, talking about corruption. Because I don't know, if we don't expunge corruption in the distribution of these palliatives, there's not going to be anything like equitable distribution. Because even in Kwara State, I saw a clip where some of the citizens walked away because you're giving a whole community 6 measures of rice. How are they going to share it? How are they going to eat it? What would that do for them? They walked away. And some states are crying that they don't have enough of what was promised, even as the distribution is ongoing. So how can corruption be expunged from the distribution of these palliatives given to states by the government so that it can get to the people, at least the people can heave a little sigh of relief from their pains and hunger?
You said it's a monster, and it's a monster that you cannot kill. You can't kill corruption. There's no way in the world that corruption has been killed. Even in the most developed societies, they've not succeeded in killing corruption. So corruption is...
Can't we deal with it?
But that's what I'm saying. They say if you don't keep corruption. If we don't keep corruption, corruption will kill us. You can't kill corruption. Corruption, you see, corruption is a massive enterprise, Joy.
People benefit massively
People
from
pay
it.
their school fees from it. People pay their rent from it. People live their life they live with it. People sustain the life they live by corruption.
At the detriment of others.
So corruption has children everywhere. It's in the marketplace, in the religious houses. It is there. Even in EBS, you probably will have. So it is there. But again, what we are looking at is that make it easy for people who are corrupt to be caught. That's the way to deal with it.
Okay.
Make it easy for people who are corrupt to be caught, and make it difficult for them to be corrupt. Because the man who steals money, he steals that money because he knows that for the next 100 years he will not be caught. So if you make it easy for those who steal from the commonwealth of the people, and make it easy for them to be caught, that will discourage them. Because the thief knows the only reason why a man goes to steal is because he knows that if he goes, he will not be caught. If he knows that he will be caught, he won't go. So the consciousness that you'll be caught puts him off. But the moment he knows that he will not be caught, he has a free day. So in dealing with corruption, we must make it difficult for people to be corrupt, and we must also make it easy for them to be corrupt. Because, Joy, corruption is like oxygen to us. In the street you go to, everywhere, it is there. In the marketplace, you name it, is everywhere. But when it comes to the aspect of where what is meant for 1,000 people, 1 or 2 persons want to appropriate it to themselves, make it easy for such person to be caught. See, Joy, even in China, where you become corrupt and you are caught and you are taken to court, you are sent, it's a capital punishment.
Yeah.
It's by that. Even at that, there is still corruption there. So what we are simply saying in this regard, in the sharing formula, government should come up with a strategy that will indeed help to make it easy for those who are. Now, you see, even the one whom you do not expect to be, even the poorest of the poor, if he has the opportunity to be corrupt, he will. He will. So it's not like corruption is a thing that is peculiar to those who are up there.
No.
Even to the lowest.
Yes.
If he has the opportunity, he will. So let's make it difficult. You know, like before now, if you go to most government agencies or institutions to go make payment, what you just pay the money across the counter, but now they ask you to go to the bank.
Yeah.
Like, say for instance, you want to renew your driver's license,
Yeah.
you go to the bank to pay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because allowing people to come constantly in contact with cash, you know, raises the level of temptation.
Yes.
And then you want to buy fuel, now your car is empty and then somebody comes to pay you. So to make it difficult, go to the bank and go and pay. So if we introduce such strategies that makes it a lot easier for those who are corrupt to be caught, it will, and then make sure that people don't come in contact with those things that will make them to be corrupt.
I would tempt them to become.
Yes, I mean, you can't take that out. But again, like I said, I'm not saying that you cannot, no, you can't deal with corruption.
Yeah.
But they say you want to kill it. You know, you can.
Yeah.
Deal with it by making it difficult for people to be corrupt.
Yes.
And then making it very easy for those who are corrupt to be caught. The moment you know that you will be caught if you take this thing, you will think twice.
Yes, you will think twice, yes. Some persons are of the opinion that civil societies and NGOs should be co-opted by each state government, because during the COVID-19 era, you discover that these NGOs and civil society persons were able to reach the unreached, even at the local government, in rural communities, and they distributed palliatives to people on their own. So if they are co-opted by the state government in the distribution of this palliative, I think it will go a long way to ensure that these palliatives gets to those, the vulnerables, who ought to benefit from them.
Yes, again, like I will say again, Joy, it's a failure of governance that will now push us to want to bring in
NGOs and civil society.
Yes, it's non-state actors
yes.
into such things.
Yes.
Ordinarily, it shouldn't be. Because if you have a local, like I said, if you have a local government that is functioning, that is their job.
Yes.
Send whatever you want to send to each of the local governments.
Yeah.
It is then now their responsibility, because that is the tier that is closest to the people.
Yes.
Send it to the local government. But unfortunately, we don't have that in place. That is why this issue, okay, this talk of co-opting the NGOs, the non-governmental organizations and all of that, civil societies and maybe those from the bench and all of that into it, so that to give it some semblance of credibility.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Okay.
To give it that semblance of credibility, because people seem not to trust government enough. And so if you're not probably bringing these sets of people into it, maybe that will create some, some sense of, trust in the minds of the people. Because as we speak, the people do not trust government.
Yeah.
But like I said, we don't have a choice now but to trust them. So bringing them in as it is now is a good idea, so that they will also help to monitor the sharing, and then the media houses too should also be involved.
Yes.
The media houses should be involved. They are the ones who will now help to educate and enlighten the Edo people that look, this were given to social local government, and these are the number of people who benefited from, this.
Yes. All right, quickly, your last word.
My last word?
Yes.
Hope. Let's keep hope alive. Let's hold on to it, because that is the only thing that will make us desire to see tomorrow.
All right, let's keep hope alive. We have been talking with Godwin Akpogome, a public affairs analyst and commentator. He's not leaving yet. He's going to be back. But we'd like to take a break here. When we return, the discussion continues. Don't go away.